Have you ever been in the middle of coding, only to find that your find and replace function isn't working the way you expect? It's frustrating, right? If that's you, then you're in the right place. Today, we're going to tackle a common issue in Visual Studio Code regarding find and replace in a selection. I totally understand your concern. It can be incredibly annoying when you want to make a specific change in your code, but the editor seems to have a mind of its own. You're not alone in this. Many users have faced similar challenges. Here's the specific situation we're looking at. One user recently asked, "Why does Visual Studio Code replace all periods in my document instead of just the selected line?" They highlighted a line of code and expected only that line to be affected. Sound familiar? Let's dive into this together and find a solution. So what could be causing this issue? In Visual Studio Code, the find and replace function can sometimes behave unexpectedly, especially when toggling the find and selection option. We'll break it down step by step so you can understand what's going on. And don't go anywhere. I've got a quick tip at the end that will help you use the find and replace feature more effectively in Visual Studio Code. To begin solving this issue, the user should first ensure that they have selected the specific line they want to modify. This is crucial for the find and replace function to work correctly. Next, the user needs to open the find and replace dialog. This can be done by pressing Ctrl+H on their keyboard. This will bring up the find and replace interface. In the find and replace dialog, the user should enter a dot in the find field and a 0 in the replace field. This sets up the parameters for the replacement. Now the user must ensure that the find in selection option is toggled on. This option limits the replacement to only the highlighted text. Finally, the user can click on the Replace All button to replace all dots with zeros in the selected line only. This should resolve the issue they are experiencing. Did you know? Visual Studio Code is one of the most popular code editors used by millions of developers worldwide. It's powerful, but like any tool, it has its quirks. Now let's look at the answers provided by other users. An alternative solution suggests using the Find and Replace dialog instead of the Search and Replace pane in Visual Studio Code. The user explains that these are two different tools. The Find and Replace dialog is better for making changes within a selected area. To perform a find and replace in a selection, follow these steps. Open the Find dialog, type your search and replace strings, select your text, then activate Find and Selection. This will limit the changes to your selected area. That's the end of that answer. Let's see another perspective. An alternative solution from another user suggests a simple fix. If you're having trouble with the Find and Selection feature, first uncheck the Find and Selection option if it's currently checked. Then, select the lines you want to modify and recheck the Find and Selection option. This should allow you to replace only the characters in your selected text. That wraps up that answer. Let's move on to another one. One user suggests a method for find and replace in Visual Studio Code on a Mac. First, press Command, Option, and F to open the Find and Replace menu. Then, click the icon with 3 horizontal bars. Select the text you want to modify, enter your find and replace terms, and press the Replace icon. However, be cautious of a bug that may prevent the find and replace from working correctly within a selection. It's advised to visually check your changes afterward. If the function seems unresponsive, try closing the Find and Replace box and repeating the steps. That's it for that answer. Let's take a look at another one. One user suggests a quick method for find and replace in Visual Studio Code on Ubuntu. First, highlight the lines you want to change. Then press Alt and L together, followed by Ctrl and H. In the drop-down that appears, type the text you want to replace and the new text. Here's the quick tip I promised. Always make sure to highlight your text before using the Find and Replace feature. This simple step can save you a lot of headaches. And there you have it. you should now be able to use the Find and Replace feature in Visual Studio Code effectively. Remember, practice makes perfect. If you found this video helpful, hit the subscribe button for more tips. And don't miss our next video where we explore more VS Code features.